Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's the new experience. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality, spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real. Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get down. Reality, spirituality. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. This is so crazy. I've been trying to log into the studio this morning, and, of course, I have not been able to, so guess what? I'm doing my show from a remote from my cell phone. Hopefully you'll be able to hear, and if not, that's just the way the universe works. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. My name is Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and thank you all for being here. Thank you, my audience, for all of your emails, all of your encouraging comments, all of your questions. I really, really appreciate all of you. And today's show, even though it's 9 minutes late, actually, it's not even 9 minutes late. It's on schedule. The universe, the universe tests me all the time. Every waking moment, I am being tested to see if I'm going to be able to maintain and sustain this internal peace and contentment, the one that I always talk to you about. And I have to say, I'm doing pretty good. I got a cell phone in my hand, and I'm talking to you through a cell phone instead of being in the studio. So I'm not going to be able to get any calls today, but that's all right. Reality, spirituality, that is what this show is about. Today's topic is your opinion is my opinion. Can't we all just get along? Can't we all just have peace? Do we have to argue? Do we have to go back and forth and back and forth? Well, today's show is going to explain why all of that behavior, all of it, is unnecessary. Interesting. Let me say this. Before I go into today's topic, because this has been a crazy, crazy week full of emotion and tragedy and just it's indescribable what the events that happened in Boston. And we are going to be talking about that later on in the show. In fact, I am going to read a meditation, and I'm telling you, this meditation is so powerful that you will feel there, you will be able to have a sense of peace, even with all of this turmoil going around. You, I promise you, will be able to take a few deep breaths and know, even with circumstances that are beyond comprehension, there is something that you can connect to. There is a energy that you can get that will embrace you, and that's happening at the end of the show. Now, for my new listeners, I want to explain just very briefly, because I've got a late start, what Reality Spirituality is about. This show is about dissecting our everyday life experiences, just like the one I had this morning trying to log into the studio, and just dissecting all of it and discovering how we can we be more connected to this universal source energy? How can we live connected? How can we live with this internal peace? And the topic of today's show, it's really interesting how my personal journey, my personal commitment to maintain and sustain peace. You know, I say when I was younger, I wished for two things, and that was to live to my potential and to be happy. And this, I'm going to say it's a job, but it's a pleasurable job of discovering how to remain happy regardless. You hear the sirens? How you can remain happy. They're not coming for me. Not yet. How to remain happy, even if the sirens are going, even if you can't log into your show. And this interesting thing is, the interesting point is that it is possible. It is possible to remain peaceful and content and just solid in the knowledge that everything is in order. And it takes a few tools and a few strategies that I'm going to share with you today. How many people in the audience have voiced their opinion to someone else about anything? I mean, we live in a society that is so opinionated. And let me tell you, I was the queen of having an opinion. Not only did I have an opinion on everything, about anyone, about any circumstance, about any situation, about any country, about any type of person, about, oh, Jesus, let me see, politicians, celebrities. I had an opinion about anybody. I mean, listen, even people that I didn't know. Even people that I didn't know. And the funny thing is, not only did I have an opinion about everyone and everybody, but if you had the pleasure of meeting me, guess what? I shared my opinion with you, whether you asked for it or not. I say that it's like taking people hostage. I actually thought that I was supposed to share my opinion with everyone, with the world. I mean, come on, isn't that what we do? Isn't that what talk radio is all about? Isn't that what these the news shows are about? The commentating shows are about? It's about sharing opinions. But this is the problem. When I discovered, when I made the commitment of wanting to be happy and having this unwavering desire for peace, when I really made that commitment, and that is my number one priority today, and all the other priorities, all the other things just happen to fall by the wayside. When I really made the commitment to remain happy regardless of any circumstances, when I made the commitment to have this smile that comes from within, I had to give up a lot of my behavior. I had to give up a lot of things that I was conditioned to do. I had to give up a lot of things I, quote unquote, thought I enjoyed doing. Because what I found out that 99.9% of the things that I did and 99.9% of the things I said, they just did not align with my new priority. My new priority of wanting to be happy. So something had to change. And when I made wanting to be happy my number one priority, and I'm not talking about skipping through the tulips, I'm talking about this internal foundation. When I made that my number one priority, I was forced to change. And I was forced to change my behavior. And I was gladly forced to change my thoughts, what I said, what I did. But the amazing thing is when I changed, so did my life. And I want to share with you what I've discovered about handing out opinions. You know, I used to hand out opinions like I was handing out candy on Halloween. Everybody in my presence got served. Everybody that came into contact with me knew what I thought about anything. I don't care, religion, politics, state of the union, race, people, person, you know, family members. I had an opinion. And the interesting thing is, like I said, I shared it with anyone. You only had to have one thing. You only had to have one criteria for me to share my opinion with you. You know what that was? You had to have ears. So let me give you something. Let me give you one big example. And I have a few listeners that have known me for a while. And this is one of my favorite examples of my opinion. Now, I know I'm going back a couple of decades, but this is a big one. When O.J. Simpson was on trial for double homicide, I was working the night shift. And so it left me a lot of free time to watch the trial. Do you know that I watched the entire 10-month trial? Yep, watching the O.J. Simpson trial just became my non-paying part-time job. I was consumed. Not only was I consumed with the trial, I mean, why was another show, but it was just, I mean, I was consumed with it. And I not only watched the trial every single day, I also listened to radio and television commentators after each day of the trial. And, of course, I had an opinion whether or not O.J. Simpson was guilty of double homicide. And I actually, believe it or not, I had relationships, close relationships in my life, family, friends, co-workers that I shared my opinion with. Now, the fact, it doesn't matter whether O.J. Simpson was guilty or not guilty. That's not my point today. My point today focuses on how I segregated people. I actually segregated people in my life that did not share my opinion. Some of you might be listening. Now, with segregation comes division. And when you have division, there is no division and happiness. Division and contentment do not mix. They do not get along. So looking back, voicing my opinion created so much division in my life, and the energy that I put out, the energy that I used to create this division, I mean, it was a mission. I spent a lot of time and energy arguing a personal perspective. A lot of time and a lot of energy creating division. And that's all opinions are, in my opinion. They create division. Now, there's not a lot of people that can listen to someone else's opinion and be okay with it, especially if it doesn't agree with theirs. Usually what happens is this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And now we get into this energy of heat, heated, sometimes anger. I know I was angry. I know I behaved like, you don't agree with me? That actually used to piss me off if someone didn't agree with me. don't know if you can relate, but I see a lot of television shows, and it all stems from people not agreeing with what someone says, not agreeing with someone else's behavior, not agreeing with what someone does or thinks. And so I'm here today to share with you, my dear audience, that having an opinion, no, more specifically, voicing your opinion is not necessary. Ever. Let me just get back to me, because you know how I like to say that this is what I've discovered, and if it relates to you, fine, and if it doesn't relate to you, that's okay too. I mean, if you're not feeling what I'm saying, it's okay, because that's your opinion. But what I have found, that me going back and forth with people just doesn't feel good anymore. It just doesn't feel good with anymore. So this is my opinion today. O.J. Simpson, is he guilty of double homicide? That's what the evidence shows. O.J. Simpson, he's not guilty of double homicide. That's what the evidence shows. It's easy. I encourage you to try it just one time. You know, this let me share with you a portion of my life. I was raised in a home where my father talked about politics a lot. My father had definite opinion of Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Green Party. I mean, of course, he had a preference, and it really doesn't matter which preference it was. But this having an opinion about good, evil, right, wrong, Democrats, Republicans, let me share. I take public transportation to and from the downtown Los Angeles area every single day. On a daily basis, I encounter bus security, janitorial staff, bus drivers, passengers. I work in an office that occupies 12 floors in a 28-floor building. I literally have 700-plus coworkers. Now, along with the coworkers, there's hundreds of tenants occupying the same building. CHP officers, security, maintenance, janitorial staff, cafeteria employees. When I enter the front door of my office, of my building, I literally speak to at least 20 people, maybe more, before I even get to the elevators. Now, this is my choice. I can enter the building and not speak to anyone, but it's my choice to speak. So I literally speak to over 20 people before I even get to the elevators. You think I ride the elevators alone? No. So I also teach aerobics, and you know that. In my classes, there's at least 25, 35, 40 people. Every single day, I'm in contact with hundreds of people, Monday through Saturday, whether it's work, whether it's aerobics, whether it's just transportation. I have contact with hundreds of people a day. And so when this presidential election, well, let's just say this, back in 2008, of course I had an opinion on who I wanted to win the presidential election, and it doesn't matter what opinion I had. Believe me, I had one, and believe me, everyone knew what it was. So if you knew me in 2008, you know what I'm talking about. But now in 2012, with all the people I encounter, here I am looking for looking for, wanting to find a place where I can be at peace, voicing my opinion. And I got to the place where, you know what? Voicing my opinion is not necessary. In fact, I took it one step beyond. This is what I came up with. And this is what I came up with because of wanting to be happy, of happiness being my priority. The two sides, Democrats, Republicans, you don't find too many people in the same room. You don't find those, the opposite sides being able to agree in the same room. I just haven't found it. And we usually get to the saying of we agree to disagree. I remember 2012, walking in the building. Now, like I said, I encounter hundreds of people. And I remember seeing a security officer wearing a Obama button. And, it's always, who are you going to vote for? You voting for Obama? And immediately, 2 thumbs up went up. Yes, of course I'm voting for Obama. A few steps away, I have a group of people, with the Romney posters. Walked by the Romney supporters, and guess what? I was voting for Romney, too. Now, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who I'm voting for. What mattered to me was keeping peace. Anyone that asked me who are you voting for, I responded with, come on. You know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for the same person you're voting for. Anyone that wanted my opinion, I gave it to them. The only difference is I gave them their opinion. Who I vote for is irrelevant, especially if the priority is being peaceful and happy. If who I'm voting for is going to bring, and I voice that, is going to create any kind of discord, I'm out. I want a cool, peaceful, easy, connected environment. That's what's important to me today. Now, I still am opinionated. However, voicing my opinions are not important anymore. I don't know why I had a need to. You know what? Scratch that. Of course I know why. It was my ego. And I'm sorry, but the ego is not going to win on this one. It's just not going to win. And you know what? I can live without voicing my opinion. I can live with agreeing with anyone's opinion. Anyone's opinion. I can live with it. So the solution, my opinion is your opinion, is the solution. You just have to have 5 ingredients. You have to want to be happy. You have to want to create a peaceful and a happy environment at all times, at all costs, including your ego. You have to be creative. I mean, when somebody looks at you and says, you're voting for Judge Judy, yeah, how did you know? You got to sell it. You never, you can't tell them, hey, I'm just agreeing with you to keep the peace. You can't share that information. I recently had a conversation with my mother, and my mother loves to watch the news. Television is on 24/7. She watches the news morning, noon, and night. And my preference is not to watch the news. I don't know about you, but learning about, hearing negativity, murder, rape, it's war. It's just not my cup of tea. It's just my thing. And my mother knows that I don't like to watch the news, but she still asks me, Becky, she calls me Becky. Becky, did you hear about the man that murdered 500 people at the school? And it's interesting because this week she actually got angry with me because I don't watch the news. She actually told me that I need to watch the news because I need to know what's going on. I need to watch the news because I need to know what's going on in my community, what's going on in the world. Now, in the past, I have to say that I would argue back and forth, Mom, I don't want to watch the news. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't want to watch it. But my new thing is this. What's wrong with agreeing with an 80-plus-year-old woman who wants me to watch the news? Is it really that important to me to disagree with her? I've been disagreeing with her for years, and it never makes me happy, and it never makes me feel good when I disagree with my mother. And there's no upside to that. Back and forth, because she has her opinion. She thinks I should watch the news. And you know what? The next time the subject comes up, guess what I'm going to say? Mom, you're right. I'm going to have to be really convincing. Mom, you're right. I'm going to start watching the news. I'm just going to agree with her. Why not? Why not? My new behavior, my new strategies, your opinion is my opinion. If you want peace, if you want to get along, if you want to create this cool environment as opposed to creating a division, your opinion is my opinion. Global warming, it's a serious issue. I agree. Drugs should be illegal. Drugs should be illegal. You're right. Did you watch the news today? Morning, noon, and night. Try it, audience. Try it. By the way, if you don't agree with what I've just said about your opinion is my opinion, I don't agree either. Switching gears. It's really interesting because I can't take a commercial break on the cell phone, but switching gears. I am not going to take credit for this. Let's talk about the Boston Marathon tragedy. You know, anytime we're physically injured, our bodies are hurt, naturally, cuts, scrape, bruise, our bodies just automatically start healing. Broken arm, we get it set in a cast, and our body just starts to heal. But it's different when our hearts are broken. And what happened in Boston is deeper than a physical injury. This incident, this tragedy affected more than just our bodies. This tragedy affected our hearts, our spirits. And when our hearts are broken, our spirits are broken, and we feel this despair and this. I mean, I can't even imagine being in a family's shoes where their loved ones lost limbs because of two individuals or even more that decided to behave in a heinous way. Any time that you cause harm or hurt to anyone, it's hard to humanly comprehend. I mean, I can't even comprehend wanting to do something like that. Now, with that said, when we are affected and hurt in that manner, it is a harder healing process. Sometimes it's a longer healing process. And the one thing that I want to share with you, my dear audience, is when you heal, and you want to heal quickly, you are able to help and heal others. So there's really nothing you can do to help others when you're suffering yourself. I personally feel I feel a responsibility to this planet to be the best that I can be so that I can offer assistance to others. And this is not a heavy job. I mean, I welcome it with open arms. I want to share this meditation that I came across, and this gentleman's name is Panache Desai, spelled Desai, and he you can go to his website actually, Panache, spelled Panache, Desai, DESAI.com, and you can listen to the meditation. I actually transcribed it, and I just want to share it with you. And before I do, I just want you to sit back and close your eyes and relax your shoulders and take some deep breaths. And know that even in the darkest moments, the light is always present. Sometimes it's hard to reconcile what happens in this life. Tragic occurrences, senseless violence, and the loss of innocent life are all difficult to understand. And one cannot help but feel heartbroken, devastated, and scared. And everyone feeling those feelings has a valid reason to feel those feelings. There's room for every single one of those emotions, because it's through our willingness to remain vulnerable and courageous and resilient that we can begin to open our hearts for those experiences, so that we can simply allow them to just wash through us. Just wash through us. So your grief is welcome. Your anger is welcome. And your fear is welcome. This life gives you in every moment, in every opportunity, the chance to remember and to know who we are. And at this time, when tragedy strikes, knowing who we are is more important than at any other time. So breathe and allow everything that's bubbling up within you just to wash through you. It's okay. Embrace your anger. Love your anger. Love your confusion. Love and embrace your heartbreak and your grief. Feel the tears. Feel the fear. And feel the emotion of confusion. Why does God allow these things to happen? How can individuals commit these acts? It's hard to understand that we live in a world that people do not value the sacredness of life. And it's okay. Grace is always present. Peace is always available. You are loved. You are safe. May peace be with you. May you be peaceful. And may you serve as an instrument of peace in this world. My audience, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for being with me. And I have some new shows coming up. We're going to have Saturday shows for guests, Reality Spirituality, and Sunday shows, me and you. If you want to contact me, you can go to my website, RebeccaNorrington.com. You can also go to RealitySpirituality.com. You can email me at info@RebeccaNorrington.com. And remember, you are powerful. You have the choice. You can choose how you're going to spend these moments in your life. Reality Spirituality, Rebecca Lynn Norrington. I love you.